And welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the 30 Years War mod. So the big thing in the last episode, I would say, is the fact that we were able to take Marseille from the French. And now we're gonna go ahead and see about discussing the release of the town back to French hands. But first, I want to make sure that this army, once we give back the province, because that's the deal, we give back the province for peace. But I want to make sure that I can actually move this army over to my Ottoman front, rather than it, you know, being displaced upon this province being handed over to France, being displaced, ending up like in Württemberg. So what we want to do is we want to kick out the French Navy, and then I want to move there, and I want to take the army and board the ships. So that right now, I'm not sure why I can't move out of the port. It doesn't matter though, they're on the ship. The ship is certainly not going to end up in there. So at this point, we'll start the negotiations with France. And I think we'll start off with just a simple... I didn't realize that peace was never an option. Alright. We cannot have peace with France. Well, then I'm not entirely sure what to do with the province. Why can't I move my bloody navy? Is it because him? So I need to attack him then. It's a single ship. It's called Psyche, but it was Psyche. I thought first it said Psycho, which will just out-resolve this one. We managed to lose 2 ships. We captured his though. So in turn, I guess we lost 1 ship. However, looking at the crew and the amount of troops that were lost, how it was 1 French ship against 10 of mine, and somehow it managed to massacre everyone. How does that work? The out-resolved is completely fucked. Right. We're gonna go here, we're gonna refit, the army needs to replenish, and then we're gonna head to the Ottomans. For a little bit, I should have probably researched that before I went ahead and invaded the French province. We'll put some troops, not Spanish dragoons. Don't I have provincial? Yeah, provincial cavalry. We'll put a few provincial cavalry. We'll put them out as feelers out through here. And so if a French force actually comes down, I'll just absolutely burn the entire province. Maybe I should already... No, build this for a dry dock. It's fine as it is. Right, so that's dealt with. And these guys going over to the Ottoman. Meanwhile, we need to put the pressure on the Ottomans, right? Before we get close here. So we're gonna try and bait this army out to come and face us. So I'm gonna march to about there. Also, I want to move through this forest in 1 move, so that I don't get attrition for being in there. So we want to pass that in 1 move. There's no need for this troop then to be held here, because we're just gonna send everything as an offensive move. So we're gonna move all the troops through here. As we get north, obviously this one I think was originally prepared to go and attack here. I think we want to replenish as much of all of these armies, and then instead we can slip through this bit and attack them, rather than going through our neutralized enemy, Brandenburg. Other than that, I don't think I have anything to say There's nothing really important going on in terms of technology. There's nothing important in... Oh, we can actually trade with the Danish. See if they want to... They oblige. Very good. Now we trade with them. Otherwise, there isn't much to be said. We make 41,000 per turn, which is pretty spectacular. And in terms of the missions, nothing interesting there. In terms of the prestige, Spain has the most, although I think that that's kind of unwarranted. Same with the rest of these. I am the one that's making the big moves, I would say. I'm the one who has conquered most territories all over the place. So I'm not entirely sure why they place Spain highest, but it could be... but this, I never felt that this was accurate in anything. Like apparently my naval is apparently very slim. And Army 65, like I've never understood how this works, because it never seems to actually reflect anything. Like, I'm on the level of the Tsardom of Russia, which seems bonkers. I have the same, like, naval power as Russia, which also seems, like, absolutely bonkers. Because, I mean, up until a few turns ago, they were bloody landlocked. So I don't see how that works. Anyways, enough of that. What we want to do is we want to take Swedish Pomerania and open up a port here to the Baltic. Important part here is to hopefully be able to lend aid to the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And also just like establish a base here, so we have somewhere we can replenish close by, since we got sort of semi-hostile states close by. With that said, we'll go ahead and conduct this battle. Wallenstein is outside the walls. They don't have any walls, so that's good. They do have those mortars though, could be dangerous. Lots of matchlock infantry and lots of pistolier cavalry. We have a slight advantage of about 500 men. I think the big advantage is probably the fact of our skill at arms. Like we've got so much more experience than the enemy, and that's going to be key. With that said, let's go into battle. Finally, the armies are arrayed to go against each other. As we can see, what I've done is the normal checkered system on this side with pike and shot. While on this side, I've decided only to put shot. Well, because I didn't have any pikes. Currently, we are in an artillery duel with the enemy. And as we can see, the enemy army is also proceeding forward, which is exactly what I will do as well. And we'll try to come up in line with this wall up here. Probably a little bit more like that. So we just kind of end up at the edge of where the artillery is able to fire. And we got cavalry on both sides. So we got our cuirassiers ready to fire pistols at the enemy cavalry moving up. And we also have our harquebusiers, the deadly harquebusiers. So I'm thinking, because the harquebusiers need to be stationary, we'll have them situated there. Fire on the enemy first, then our cuirassiers will move in and charge from the flank as the enemy proceeds. We are currently firing all over the place. Now I actually want them to fire the percussion shot, and I want them to switch target to actually fire on the enemy infantry instead. Oh, we have marched within distance of their explosive shot now. It's going to be very important here that we win the cavalry struggle here as soon as possible, because that withering fire we will not stand against. At the same time, we got enemy pistoliers coming up to our gunner line. They would have done well to charge it. Now they're just going to sit out there and get shot to pieces. I want this one to fire first before I send in the lancers. We're doing well here. The line is holding just fine for now. Send in the lancers. And looks like the gunnering line will hold. We can actually wheel these two up, because the enemy is kind of stuck here. So that'll be just fine. I want to go after those cannons as soon as possible. Yeah, the enemy cavalry is kind of beaten. The cuirassiers will make a line immediately for the enemy mortars. The arquebusiers will move up. And then I think we'll start to kind of swing up this part of the line. Like that. And I think that will be fine. Okay, we're kind of beating them away. We'll pull off, allow these units to get maximum amount of firepower in on these. And destroy them, and then the lancers can be kept fresh for other engagements. You will advance. Looks good all across the line. Probably won't get at some point the arquebusier close enough to fire on these. What's the howitzer firing at? Fire at that if you have no target. Can you end these already so that I can link up the line? We'll hold that one and then we'll start this one off to link up with the rest. This one should be close enough to annihilate the rest. You will go for the second mortar there. Yeah, they are now within range of the arquebusiers, which is wonderful. We are trading shots all around. Probably best cannon shots could be gained by firing on this. I'm not really seeing much explosions up here, so I'm not entirely sure why they're not firing. Right, pick target and will then. Right. Join the line. Slowly enveloping the enemy force. Now we're seeing explosive shots. That's what I want to see. Thing though is, in the long run, we'll take more casualties than the enemy, just because it's a gunnery fight. So we should see about smashing the enemy with cavalry charges. We got the lancers ready to come in there, and then I could get the cuirassiers to come at the militia. Or actually could come at this angle over here. Currently we're firing tons of cannon shot at this one. Alright, I'm gonna start off the lancers anyways. And then we're gonna focus in troops over there. And this gunnery line will follow as the lancers now go in. Crash into the enemy force. At the same time, we got the cuirassiers coming up. I guess they can't fire while on the move. So I'll order them to set up their fire once before we are sending them in. Oh, the enemy pistolier general is doing massive amount of damage to the 18th Regiment. Alright, set off in the charge. The Lancers aren't really breaking up the unit as much as I'd hoped. I'd order them to turn around and go after the enemy general instead. They have lost 1/3 of their unit, so that's not great. This one has been terribly reduced, given by the fact that I've been concentrating my fire on that. Let's get the arquebusiers out of there. And then forward these lines. Get them forward to about here as we slowly shrink the circle around the enemy. Right, the Lancers did a lot better and is chasing away the enemy general. Right, continue to wheel up like that. The arquebusiers will be moved in close right there, ready to fire, while the cuirassiers will continue by charging over here. The enemy doesn't stand a chance, I don't think. Okay, the arquebusiers moved up. At this range, they should absolutely slaughter the enemies in front of them. Oh, they weren't loaded? This unit's gonna get absolutely slaughtered. Alright, there we go. And it kind of forces them closer to my main firing line. More and more units are breaking up and retreating here. And oh, I thought mine had lost. You are supposed to destroy these. Why have you not been able to... Oh, the arquebusier is now out of shot. Well, you know what? Charge then. Right, looks like the battle is more or less over. We are getting a bit too close with cavalry units. I will hold fire for the cannons. Need to chase down that one enemy general unit. And I think we should probably hold fire with these and then order forward the pikes to end them, the coup de grace, while the gunners on this side will continue to fire. Cavalry units seem to have a very hard time actually breaking down that one general unit. The enemy infantry is held in place by my heavy cavalry, slowly cutting them to pieces. But as the pike units now close in, the cavalry will peel off. The cuirassiers can actually stay, they still have shot. The arquebusiers, though, will send them off chasing the enemy. And with that, it's assured to say that we are victorious. The Pomeranian rebels stood no chance against the might of the Austrian army. We destroyed their entire force while only losing about 600 men. About 100 of those were friendly fires. Highest kills goes to the Austrian Cuirassiers, followed by the Arquebusiers, followed by Austrian Musketeers. Highest losses was occurred by a pike unit, which lost 94 men. Could have been that one that came under howitzer fire, not howitzer, mortar fire. Those explosive rounds killing quite a few of those soldiers. But there we have that. We have occupied Swedish Pomerania. Wonderful. Probably should make a make this into a military camp, although it looks like it's going to take 6 turns to build this up. Also, this port might do better as a military port. Great estates are not that great. We are now receiving replenishment, so all our forces will be heading into this province to set up and recuperate. As it is July, and the slow movement of these armies, it could be that we won't be able to advance on Mecklenburg before winter. But I think I might push through anyways, even if that's the case. So just to remind everyone, it's basically that one. I mean, in terms of what we need for our victory conditions, this province is held by our allies. These two has basically been subjugated. Oldenburg, I guess we could try and march on Oldenburg, because that one could fall. We haven't actually tested that one. The one here in the middle crashed. We could try that one again by overwhelming it without resolving. Mecklenburg is next up on the target. And then we have Denmark. I don't know why Denmark's part of this, really. But I guess we could go after the Danes as well. And then instead of Transylvania, we could transplant Transylvania and instead take either Wallachian region, the Greek, or just the main home province of the Turks, or something like that, which I think would definitely outstrip the value of Transylvania. So that is what we're looking forward to as we continue this. And yes, with that said, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.